you tell the very troubling story of how you were sexually molested by a relative before you even turned 10, and you allege that rape and molestation inside Indian families is a major issue. Why did you share your own personal experience now, and is it changing, and what has been the reaction?
It was a really difficult decision for me to decide whether I should put my experience of child sexual abuse and later with sexual violence in an adult relationship as well in this book. It was a difficult decision for two reasons, Tina. One, I was writing a book on India, and it was not strictly an autobiography. I did not want to be the story, I wanted to tell the story. The second reason it was difficult, because as anybody in this hall knows, when something like this happens, and when you're a child, I was younger than 10 years old, you bury it. You bury it, and you try and forget it, and then something happens, a smell, a sound, and it reminds you, and then you push it out again. And then when you have to write about it, you have to excavate it from somewhere deep within you, and you relive it. And it feels like yesterday. And even sitting here today, I'm 44 years old, but I feel like I'm 8 years old again. You know, I can see that man's face in my head every time I talk about it. Why did I talk about it? Because I cannot, with any honesty, write about feminism, call myself a feminist, talk about the need to lift the veil of silence and the conspiracy of silence around sexual violence and abuse if I'm not ready to break the silence in my own life. That was a reason.
And when later on as a student you were roughed up by this man that you were dating, quite nastily beaten up, again, you didn't come forward then. Was that about the period of feeling that you would be tarred, and do you regret that you didn't?
I did try and come forward, because I had told myself that I'm not going to be silent. I'm not going to be silent. I can understand my silence as a child, but less so as an adult. But when I went to the faculty where I was studying, and I actually went and consulted lawyers, and I said, I want to take this man to court. You know, he hit me. I went home with bruises across my face, and when my father and my sister asked me what happened, I said I walked into a door. I, with all my awareness, still felt that sense of shame. I felt like the embarrassment was mine, and I wanted to fight that feeling. So I went to meet these lawyers, and the lawyers told me, you're going to waste your time. You're going to be in court for the next 25 years. Nobody's going to believe you. You were dating this guy. They're not going to even, punish him. Just forget about it. And he was in the same profession as me. When I signed up to be a journalist at my network, I just had one request of my employers. I said, if you hire this guy, I will not work here. And they backed me on that. But I do regret it today. I feel I should not have listened to those lawyers. I feel I should not have been defeatist. And I feel I should have gone to court, because so what if it takes 20 years? It's important.